Hey guys, it's Zali here from Nxnja. I'm really excited today because I'm going to give you guys a review on our Darche 270 awning. I'm going to show you how to set it up and go through some pros and cons along the way. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's start with what you will see on the vehicle when it is mounted. So as it is quite a heavy awning, we'll pop the actual weight for you on the screen so you can see. The brackets that come with it are very sturdy. Like, we've been through corrugations and all sorts of things. We've had other, like our spotlights and stuff, fall off from dodgy fittings. So these have been great. Nothing has been wrong with them, and we've had this awning since March. So for such a heavy awning, it's great for what they give you. Okay, so now let's get into the good part and we'll open it all up and I'll show you what's inside. Now what I've got here, they're two straps that you use to hook onto either side of the awning just to attach it to the car to keep it a bit more stable. Now I know everyone's setup will be a little bit different on their roof rack, but you'll kind of get the idea on where to place them so you'll be able to support your awning as best as possible. So now that I've got that one attached to the roof rack, I'm just going to sit this one here and I'll just have it ready for when the awning comes around. So essentially the first step to the awning is attaching it to those two straps that we just hooked up earlier. And then we'll attach it to the front. Once you've done that, just make sure you go and fix up your straps and make sure there's enough tension on your awning. Once you've done that, you'll see that there's 3 legs attached to the awning already. We're just going to undo the Velcro and drop those down. So here I've got is the 3 additional poles that they do give you. You can't store them in the awning, but they are needed. So I'm just going to go around and put those ones in. If you're anything like me and you're over it by the 5th peg, you can just like wrap this last one around the bull bar. Saves the peg and it probably stops you from tripping over it too. Pegs are in, guy ropes are down, it's not going to fly away. Let's get into the pros and cons. So it's actually going to be really hard for me to find cons about this awning, but we'll start from the front and we'll make our way around. I'm going to start with this little sail at the front. Like I said earlier, it is very awkward to guy rope down. It does slide, it's not actually fixed. So a little stopper here would actually help fix that problem. A little bit of wind and it does tend to push out. So another con we have found is these spare poles. So if you look at the top here, the way that they connect is actually quite awkward. A little bit of wind and that just will pop up, and we have found to them just slip out. They're also, I don't know why, upside down. The other poles are the other way and these ones are this way. So you've found a lot of dust and dirt to get in this, and when you close them they are quite scratchy. So it's a bit awkward that they've done 2 different type of poles in the one awning. So this next con, in my opinion, is probably the biggest one to do with the awning, is the poles. So like you saw earlier, there's 3 attached and then there's 3 that you put in afterwards. Not really sure why they decided to have 3 that attach afterwards, because you've got to remember them when you go camping. You've got to find somewhere to put them when they could easily just be mounted like this, or maybe find a different alternative to maybe putting them inside this, or just making sure that they are attached to the awning when they are packed away, because no one likes to forget their poles. So I just want to elaborate a little bit more on the guy ropes. As I was saying, it can be seen as a pro and a con, that the way that they are. I don't see an issue with it at all if you're using the awning just as it is, but the awning does come with 3 attachable walls and they've all got guy ropes like this. So if you're putting out all the guy ropes, it will look like a spider's web and it kind of looks a bit messy. So I would suggest that maybe you change the way that Darche changed the way that they had the poles, and you just punch the pegs straight through the bottom of the pole, and you'd get rid of 6 guy ropes that you'd have to peg out, and it'd look much nicer. So obviously when we decided to buy the Darche 270, we knew what we were expecting when we purchased this, but if you take a look around, you will see that there is quite a lot of guy ropes, and that can be kind of daunting to some people. They might think too much setup time, or it is going to be more of a trip hazard. You know, it does kind of look spider webby when it's all done, but it does give you a lot more confidence in your awning. We haven't had any issues with the kind of feeling like it's going to fly away or doing any damage, so we personally think it's a pro, but I can understand why people would see it as a con. Alrighty guys, so let's jump into the pros now. First up, I want to discuss with you the layout of the awning. As you can see, it has great coverage right from the front of the car all the way around the back. Works great for us because our main cooking spot and living quarters is in that area. Obviously different brands have different layouts, so it's up to you to kind of decide what works best for you, but if you don't work out the back of the car, then a 270 awning probably isn't really needed for you. So you might be wondering, what do I do when it rains? Put another guy rope in. So they've got these extra attachments here that you can put another guy rope in. Pull down on it. Obviously you're going to have a guy roped in. It will create a V, so it'll stop that pooling and allow the water to come off just like a gutter. You can't just do it just on the one like this. You will have to do it on all sections of the tent. So I'll just go around and I'll chuck them all in for you, and you can see what it looks like with all the guy ropes in. So right now, this is exactly how the awning is going to look fully set up. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the walls now. Wall 1 starts here and it covers this panel and also this panel. Wall 2 starts here and it just zips together to wall 1, covers this panel and this panel, and then there is a small wall 3 right here which also zips onto wall 2. So if you are someone that is considering the walls, this paints a picture of how big they are. This is where we store them and the other 2 elsewhere in the car, but they take up quite a lot of space. So if it is something you are considering, maybe look at just 1 or 2 depending on what you're after, but yeah, something to really think about whether you do need them or how many you need of them. So as I was saying earlier about the 3 poles that are already attached to the awning, all 3 of those are the ones that will swivel out, so it's to create more room under the awning. When you pretty much would only use them when you're putting the walls up, but you can do it anytime that you like. So as you can see, it's a pretty cool feature. I know it might seem like a minor feature to have, but it does create so much more room, especially when you've got the walls down. There's like no point having a tapered wall, right, if the poles are in your way. So to be able to taper them out exactly the way the walls go is a great feature. Okay, big pro right here is the brackets. You can see where all your money goes because it supports this so well. We did so much research, it was ridiculous, and this one won every time. You'll see on against other brands, they won't seem to be able to hold up the awning when you are setting it up, where this one could. So that was a big plus for us, and big tick, big pro, so well done. Also, if you're someone that does like lighting in your awning, fits fine in this awning. Just touch an LED strip to the inside of the awning and works perfectly. Also, another thing here, if you're someone that has lighting that does need a sail track, they've got one here provided for you, so you've got the option, which is great. So in terms of price, you're looking at an awning that's just over $1,000. With all 3 walls, you're looking at around $1,600 for the whole setup. So quite expensive, but totally worth it. We love our Darche 270 awning, so we would 100% recommend it. But when it comes to 270 awnings, just take into consideration your setup, the layout that you're after, and I'm hoping this has helped your decision making a lot easier. So if you have any questions or anything, just drop them in the comments and we'll help you as best as we can. Thanks for watching, guys.